Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Why is it that every Halloween, someone somewhere says, you know what would make this night of fun costumes and candy even better? Felonies. Welcome to a special Halloween edition of True Crime Tuesday, Trick or Crime, where we're talking about the wild, creepy, and just plain dumb crimes that happen on or around Halloween. Because for some reason, October 31st seems to bring out both the tricksters and the people who looked at a haunted house and said, I can top that. I'm your host, Kelly, your guide through this bizarre intersection of spooky season and stupidity. And also, the gaggle of laughter that you're probably going to hear in the background of this is my daughter, who does not know how to use her inside voice. Today, we are talking about it all. Poison candy, deadly costumes, haunted house alibis, and the most dramatic pumpkin theft you've ever heard of. So grab your candy, turn on a light, and maybe triple check that your neighbor's decoration is actually a decoration. Because this Halloween, the scariest thing isn't what's in the dark. It's who thought these crimes were a good idea.
Trick or treat!
Alright, so let's talk about the urban legend that ruined Halloween for every millennial kid. The idea that some strangers out there were handing out poisoned candy. Plot twist, the only real case of that happening wasn't even a stranger. It was a dad. His name was Ronald O'Brien, and he was a Texas man who was nicknamed the Candyman, and not in the fun Sammy Davis Jr. kind of way, more like the please don't eat that Timmy kind of way. So it's 1974, and O'Brien takes his kids trick-or-treating in a suburban Houston neighborhood. Normal stuff, costumes, candy, that one house that hands out toothbrushes because they hate joy. Anyway, I don't know why I laughed at that. But at one house, the lights are off, but Ronald insists the kids go knock anyway, but for some reason, he goes up by himself and comes back holding 5 giant pixie sticks. First of all, 5 from a dark house? Absolutely not. Anyway, he gives them to the kids, including his one son, Timothy, and a few hours later, Timothy eats some of the candy and tragically dies. Autopsies show the pixie sticks were filled with cyanide, so police start investigating, thinking it's some random neighborhood maniac, but then they realize the other pixie sticks were never handed out and were still in Ronald's possession. Turns out, our boy Ronald had taken out a life insurance policy on both kids for $20,000 each, which, I don't know, maybe that's the first red flag. If you're an insurance agent and someone says, yeah, I'd like to protect my child for one Halloween night only, please, that's your cue to call literally anyone else. So he'd planned to kill both of them for the payout and even handed out the extra poison pixie sticks to random kids so that it would look like a neighborhood incident. Thankfully, no one else ate theirs because the top was stapled shut. Nothing so sketchy like candy sealed with office supplies. So O'Brien was arrested, convicted, and executed in 1984. And after that, Halloween was never the same. Parents everywhere started x-raying candy, opening wrappers, and suspiciously sniffing Kit Kats. So yeah, next time your mom says she needs to inspect your candy, you can thank the world's worst dad for that. Just FYI, you might hear my 1 million cats purring because they're hovering around me right now. The one staring at me from across the room is actually kind of creepy. Anyway, so remember when Halloween costumes were supposed to be fun? You'd go as a ghost, a vampire, or I don't know, a sexy cat who regretted their life choices by 10 p.m. Yeah, this guy took it a little too far. So it's 1988 in Ohio. A man decides to dress up as Freddy Krueger, full makeup, hat, striped sweater, fake blades, like everything. Well, not blades, but like, the thing between his fingers. Like his fingers, I guess. Not between his fingers. But also, this is random, but every time I hear the words striped and sweater, my brain automatically sings that line from SpongeBob where I'm not going to sing it for you. Maybe I will. I'm going to sing it. And then if I like it enough, I'll leave it in. But he sings,
I like to call this little number striped sweater. The best time to wear a striped sweater is all the time.
But anyway, yeah, I quote SpongeBob often. My kids are going to hear this and be like, you are not our mother. No way, no how. But like my favorite part is like at the end, the way he says, yeah, he's like, yeah. I love SpongeBob. But anyway, so he goes to this Halloween party, right? And everyone's in costume, having drinks, dancing, normal, chaotic, adult Halloween energy. And at some point, Freddy, whose real name was Kenneth V. French, gets into an argument with another partygoer. Now, I've seen drunk people argue over dumb things like who killed whose Tamagotchi, but this one apparently escalated fast. Witnesses said it went from a lighthearted roast battle to full like slasher movie in about 3 seconds. So Kenneth was still fully dressed as Freddy Krueger, pulled out a real knife and stabbed 2 people, and one of them was fatally stabbed. And imagine being there, like 1 minute you're vibing to Michael Jackson's Thriller, and the next minute Freddy's actually like murdering someone by the snack table. Like, that's wild. So when police showed up, witnesses were like, yeah, he's still in the costume. And I don't know, but something about being arrested for murder while wearing a Halloween costume just, I don't know, feels so poetic. So Kenneth was charged with murder and sentenced to prison, and the local paper ran the story with the headline titled "A Nightmare Come to Life," which basically wrote itself. That's why Halloween is wild sometimes though, right? Like, you don't know if that's like fake blood or...
Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Or felony. My kind of Halloween party involves pajamas, snacks, Halloween Town, and Hocus Pocus. Okay, this next one honestly sounds fake, but it's not. It's real. And it happened on a Halloween night. So it's 2011 in Utah, and a 24-year-old guy named Eric and his roommate, let's call him not having a good night, Steve, get into an argument. And neighbors say they heard yelling, a struggle, and then silence. Turns out Eric had murdered his roommate, which is already insane enough, but it gets worse. So after killing him, Eric cleaned up, put on his Halloween costume, and left for his haunted house shift like it was a totally normal Tuesday. And not just any haunted house. He worked at one of those giant, like super popular ones where you walk through like rooms that are scary and like people jump out with like chainsaws and stuff, which that reminded me of a story. And I'm so sorry that I interrupt all the time to like tell my stories, but they make me chuckle and I feel like you should hear them because they might make you chuckle too. So the reason why I thought of this story is because I said the word haunted. So the haunted attraction and I say haunted and that like it's not really haunted, but like they just say haunted. But anyway, the closest haunted attraction to me growing up I always called it Arisafa, but a lot of people just say Bates Motel. One night, me and my friend went, just the two of us, and we left the kids with their dads, and we were going through the haunted, like, corn maze thing, and some dude who worked there jumped out with a chainsaw. And, like, okay, so you're going through the corn maze, and then you go through, like, it was a tent, but it was just, like, an open area with, like, other stuff in it. So we were coming out of that part of the corn maze, and you had to run through the tent and then go into the next part of the corn maze. And I was like, he turned the chainsaw on, which was already scary. So he's chasing me with the chainsaw. there was this guy in front of me, and I didn't know he was in front of me because he was in the tent, and I was coming around from the corn maze at like lightning speed. I was running so fast. It was probably like 0.5 miles an hour. And I ran right into this dude's back so hard, actually, that I knocked him over. So he's like laying on the ground, like face first into the ground, probably has a mouthful of dirt. And I'm like laying on top of him because that's just how we landed. But I'm still moving, still trying to crawl away from the chainsaw guy who was behind me. And I was pulling his girlfriend's arm, trying to stand up so that I could continue to run away. I was like grabbing her arm and like she's looking at me and I'm like, Brenda, help me. That's a White Chicks reference in case you guys were wondering. But anyway, it was a wild time, and I'm sure that couple still talk about how they, encountered that crazy girl who like ran into a bale of hay and then knocked him over. What a wild night. But anyway, he went to work covered in real blood. Coworkers didn't even notice because it was Halloween and hello, haunted attraction. And everyone just assumed he was method acting. So the next morning, his coworkers started piecing it together after he casually mentioned being tired from a rough night. And police eventually found evidence back at the apartment and Eric was arrested. Creepiest part is that the visitors that night said he was one of the best actors there. So yeah, next time you walk through a haunted house and think, wow, that looks so real, maybe it is. All right, let's lighten things up a little bit before I have to sleep with the lights on because it's dark outside. While some people spend Halloween night handing out candy or like dodging fake spiders, others apparently decide, you know what this world needs? Organized pumpkin crime. Enter the Pumpkin Bandit. So it's 2017 in Morton, Illinois, and a group of teens decide to go on what police later described as a pumpkin heist spree. So over the course of a single night, they stole over 200 pumpkins from people's porches. 200 is like a lot. That's like a full-blown agricultural operation. And then get this. So when the police finally tracked them down, they said the teens weren't even sure like why they were doing it. One kid actually told the officer like, oh, we were going to make a pumpkin army. Okay, first of all, adorable. Second of all, what was the battle plan there? Like death by decorative gourd. So one of the bandits dropped his phone during the Great Pumpkin Escape, and police found it lying next to like a smashed pumpkin, and there was no passcode, and they ended up finding a selfie of him holding said pumpkin right before the theft. When they were finally caught, they were just sitting in the back of the truck surrounded by stolen pumpkins, like the world's least intimidating mafia. I picture the arrest photo being like cop car lights flashing, one kid crying, and a random pumpkin just rolling away into the night like, I didn't sign up for this. But compared to the other cases I talked about, the Pumpkin Bandit might be like the hero we did not know that we needed. No murders, no haunted houses, just pure dumb Halloween.
Are high-interest credit cards or personal loans weighing you down? Unlock gives homeowners a smarter option. With a home equity agreement, you can tap into your home's equity for cash today. There are no monthly payments. Here's how it works. Unlock provides funds upfront and in exchange, shares in a portion of your home's future value. That means you keep control with the flexibility to use your equity your way. Pay off bills, invest in home improvements, or set aside savings for peace of mind. For thousands of homeowners, Unlock has been the key to moving forward without the pressure of another payment. Put your equity to work for you. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
In chaos. Burr, 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 burr. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that without laughing. All right. It's time for the Docket of Dumb. Halloween edition, where the costumes are bad, the crimes are worse, and the logic, honestly, is missing like half the candy in my kid's trick-or-treat bag. In Florida, police were called to a bar after two men dressed as vampires got into an actual sword fight. In Missouri, a man tried to rob a gas station dressed as a ghost using a white sheet with 2 eye holes, except he forgot to cut the eye holes. In Pennsylvania, a woman was pulled over for swerving all over the road. Police say it smelled like Bath & Body Works had exploded, but it was just the vodka she'd mixed with pumpkin spice creamer. In Indiana, a woman dressed as a witch was detained after trying to cast a spell on a self-checkout machine that kept double charging her. In Wisconsin, police chased down a man who threw handfuls of candy corn out the window at officers during a traffic stop. He said he was just making it festive. And that, my friends, wraps up the True Crime Tuesday. Trick or Crime, Halloween edition. We've learned a lot tonight. Like, don't trust anyone handing out pixie sticks from a dark house. Never invite Freddy Krueger to your party. And if your haunted house coworker is covered in blood, maybe ask some follow-up questions. Also, if you're thinking of committing a pumpkin-related crime this year, maybe don't. Halloween just does something to people, man. It's like full moons and free sugar combines to create the perfect storm of chaos. But if everyone behaved themselves, I wouldn't have things to talk about on Tuesdays. Huge shout out to everyone listening on Nighthawk Radio, on Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. You are the real MVPs of chaos. That's my cat eating, by the way. I'm in the living room. I should tell you. If my mic sounds weird, it's because I'm in the living room, not recording in my bedroom. Burkle Pants was sleeping, and she sleeps on my bed. And I didn't want to disturb her slumber, so I left her up there when I came down here to record. And then while I was recording, I had to text my daughter 50,000 times to be quiet because she does not, absolutely not, know how to use an inside voice. Ever. She is the loudest motherfucker I've ever heard in my life. Dude, okay, we were literally at Hershey Park Stadium, and I swear I could hear her singing. In like 60,000 people, I swore I heard her voice. Like, if she ever gets lost in an amusement park, I listen for the screams. And that's how I can find her. If you like this episode, make sure to follow, rate, subscribe, and maybe tell all your friends. Especially the ones who always say nothing weird ever happens around me. Hello, I am your weird. This week's song of the week is Fashionably Late by The Break Plans. And this song is my jam, and I am fashionably late to literally everything. Every day. I'm a late person for some reason. I don't know why. But stay weird, stay spooky, and I'll see you Friday for more chaos. Well, actually, I should say, you'll hear me Friday for more chaos.
Goodbye.
Are high-interest credit cards or personal loans weighing you down? Unlock gives homeowners a smarter option. With a home equity agreement, you can tap into your home's equity for cash today. There are no monthly payments. Here's how it works. Unlock provides funds upfront and in exchange shares in a portion of your home's future value. That means you keep control with the flexibility to use your equity your way. Pay off bills, invest in home improvements, or set aside savings for peace of mind. For thousands of homeowners, Unlock has been the key to moving forward without the pressure of another payment. Put your equity to work for you. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.